Poetry connects minds. Poetry connects the hearts of the continents. It spills into our heart with red. Poetry is in our veins, and it is the plant we grow inside us. In this collage of new poetry, poetry across the globe in English, we have with us leading Indian poets, leading poets of the globe to make the repertoire so versatile, so varied. Among the Indian poets, we have celebrated poets like Keki Daruwalla, Mamang Dai from Northeast, Ranu, Uniyal, Mona Dash. Mona Dash is Indian-born, UK-settled poet. Yes. Ranu Uniyal from Lucknow. Keki Daruwalla is one of the pioneer poets of India. We have with us Ario Salazar from Latin America, El Salvador. We have Kavita Ezekiel, daughter of Nissim Ezekiel, now lives in Canada. We have with us Jillian Sullivan from New Zealand, Robert Deluty from USA, John Thieme from UK, and we want to highlight the global trends of poetry in English. Here, let's enjoy.
A poem called The Knock. I mean, it just came to me. I was in Seattle with my daughter's family when I wrote it. Here it goes. The Knock. The wind knocks at your door and you let it in. Dry leaves scrape your door and you let them in. If you were to ruminate, if you ever had time for rumination, that is, you'd feel for a flyby moment that a particular knock you heard on the far edge of awareness was mine. On the other hand, you may never have heard a shadow's tenuous leaf tap, muffled tap. It was a harmless knock, I can tell you. Perhaps to meet and tear apart a solecism or share a perfect I am bad prized out of some crumbling book. But you were another island. The window and skylight at your airy house may have opened to a gust of rain, to gnat, an insect, even a firefly pulsing low on battery. But you were so much in love with light, you couldn't hear a shadow knock. You wouldn't let a shadow in. Thank you.
Hello Jaydeep and Basudhara, thank you for having me on this program. The poem I'm going to read is called After Gabo. It was written sometime this April. No one can say it like you said it about love and magic, solitude and growing old. Here it's white butterflies whirling around in the garden, and the scent of bitter almond is the scent of orange blossom. You know, love is a virus too, jumping ship, landing up in ports and cities, so eager, enchanted, on the banks of another river in the time of quarantine. There are lines and lines of communication jostling through a virtual pandemic. A sadness named, unnamed, Fermina Daza. Is it true? Everything is in our hands. Outside my window, red hibiscus, red. If the aim is to survive, it's time to weigh anchor again. For how long? Who knows? Our old life is gone. It's another summer, and the pages are turning in a chronicle of things foretold. One battered flag in the time of lockdown. Despite contrary winds, a battered flag is flying. You'll see it here and there in the direction of the future. Salt water, caresses, buoyant as the hearts of old lovers, young enough to believe in forever. Thank you very much. Keep well, everyone, and I'm sure good times will be with us again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mona Dash and I'm reading from my poem, The God of Happiness, from my book, A Certain Way. God of Happiness. Wars rage in countries, battlefields grow. Wars rage in human hearts, killings happen in words, deeds, bodies. The earth dances its own Tandawa. Hidden in the skies, unheeding, sits the God of Happiness. Blue-bodied, golden-robed, he shines in rainbows, he giggles in supermoons, he dazzles in the sun's rays. He bestows benedictions laughingly, indiscriminately, in our outstretched palms when we ask. Some receive quivering moments, some receive a lifetime's blessings, some, bewildered by his gaze, forget prayers and nurse despair. He gives when we give up and ask.
Screens. He was never a very tactile person, but in these days of virtual contact, he wants to reach into his devices to hold the people that he meets online. He was never quick to show emotion, but filled with unrequited love. He craves the holograms of strangers, airbrushed icons from the past.
The frost that cowed the blooms was just the start. There was hail and ice and thunder yet to come, and now it ends, we hold the fallen to our heart. In the dawn the chill winds laid their mark. The harvest of our children had begun. The frost that cowed the blooms was just the start. They were taken from our yard and from our hearth, those who'd bloomed and those whose blooming was to come. And now it ends, we hold the fallen to our heart. The art of war was never any art for us when winter's shadows paled the sun. The frost that cowed the blooms was just the start. No more the blackened leaves, the silent lark, nor rubble in the fields concealing limbs, for now it ends, we hold the fallen to our heart. We let them go, and in this way we played our part. Across the tracks of snow we call them home. The frost that cowed the blooms was just the start, and now it ends. We hold the fallen to our heart.
Good morning from Canada, and thank you to Basudhara Roy Chatterjee for the invitation to read a poem of mine on my favorite subject, which is home. And now here's the poem. A Bucket of Hot Water and Salt by Kavita Ezekiel Mendonca. I have forgotten why I came from the foothills of the Himalayas to flat prairie land. Perhaps the swirling mists and heavy fog have dimmed the reasons. Yet, I was one of the lucky ones. I brought home with me a husband and children to share the separation from my homeland and the warmth of the Bukhari. My rotis turn out like the map of India. I need the skilled hands of the home fires. Once, in college days, I helped build a well in a village outside the city, eager to do my part for social service to the poorer community, conscious of my blessings where water poured out of a tap, even if for 2 hours a day. The man with the camel skin bags was ready if it didn't. I passed the gamelas full of mud from the top of the hill down the assembly line to the bottom. Baked in the sun and exhausted in every limb, I returned home to water and love. Grandmother put a handful of salt in a bucket of hot water, told me to soak my feet in it. It will take away the pain and the fatigue, she said. Home is where the healing takes place. Now I walk in the migrants' shoes, metaphorically. Where will they call home? When will they get there? Did they sleep on the train tracks because they thought no train was coming? Or if perchance they reached home, were their grandmothers waiting with a bucket of hot water and salt to ease the pain? My quest for answers is a search for the Holy Grail. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ario Salazar, and I am a poet from the country of El Salvador, which is a country located south of Mexico in Central America. Today I'm very happy to share with you one poem which I wrote recently, and the name of that poem is Cats Don't Believe in Scissors. To that end, I will be sharing that poem in both English and Spanish. I hope that you enjoy it. Cats don't believe in scissors. A cat perpetually lives in the one mindset. No imaginary scissors cut his mind into two. His gaze and body are focused and fixed on the object of his preying. He concentrates all his energies to become one with the ground, with the flowers around him, the grass, the twigs, and the wind. No imaginary mental scissors can cut his mind into two, for the cat perpetually lives in the zone of the fresh, integrated, indivisible mindset. Such is the reason that cats don't believe in scissors. And now in Spanish. Los gatos no creen en tijeras. Un gato perpetuamente vive en la dimensión de la mente indivisible. No hay tijeras imaginarias que cindan su mente en dos. Su mirada y su cuerpo se enfocan y se fijan sobre el objeto de su depredación. Concentra todas sus energías para fusionarse con el suelo, con las flores a su alrededor, con la hierba, los chiribiscos y el viento. No hay tijeras imaginarias que le dividan la mente en dos, porque el gato vive perpetuamente en la zona de la mente fresca, integrada, indivisible. Tal es la razón por la que los gatos no creen en tijeras. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you have enjoyed this reading.
Hello, dear friends. It is beautiful to connect with you all through this initiative by Dr. Jaydeep Sarangi and Basudhara Roy. I'm going to read a poem from my first collection, Across the Divide. The title of the poem is On a Monday Morning. I know that these streets have nothing in common with the avenues on your side of the country. Over the humber hangs a crooked and a tired moon. It often reminds me of the blisters on old man's feet. Every scab is like a frozen wound on a fresh mango leaf. Do you often read stories of Knut Hamsun, who stole my heart with his Victoria? I want to write and let you know, but I find words cannot face the truth. Only women can. Fire spits silence and I am drenched. A copy of Sylvia Plath's letters is half read and half forgotten. And on this day, I promise to post mine for you. Nothing is as refreshing as talking to you. Thank you.
We'll start off with School Assembly, which appears in my most recent book. The United States Poet Laureate agrees to visit the elementary school he attended 50 years earlier and to give a lecture to all 3rd through 5th graders. After discussing sonnets, free verse, quatrains, senryu, limericks, villanelles, and haibun, and reciting for 30 minutes his own award-winning poetry, he asked the children if they had any questions. I do, exclaims a 4th grader sitting in the 2nd row. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Warm greetings from Jamshedpur, Jharkhand, India. It has been a pleasure for us to come together with these video poems for the Hearth Within, a project that we thought would help us to stoke our awareness of the resources that lie within us. At a time when the world has been colonized by a virus, we believe that it would help to turn attention to the hearth of creativity, of love, of hope, of warmth that lies within us, and what better way to do it than through poetry. We are immensely grateful to all the 9 poets who contributed their work, who shared it in all its profundity and all its warmth with their own voices. And we hope that this collection of voices from across the globe helps to make our day better, more beautiful. Thank you from each one of us to each one of you.